Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with Star Wars, the Black Series, the Clone Wars, Quinlin Vos. Let's get into it! Let's start things off with a look at the packaging. And here on the top, we've got the peggy thing, or the hooky thing, not the peggy thing. A couple of pieces of tape, nothing else there on the top. On the front, Star Wars, the Black Series. Nice big window showcasing the figure accessories. It even goes around to the side here a little bit. He's number 22 in the Clone Wars subline, Quinlin Vos. Warning, don't stick things in your pie hole if they don't belong there. Forward up. And there's the assortment number if you need that kind of thing. And there's Hasbro print. On the bottom, small print, fine print, legalese print, main China print, symbols I'm not going to learn, and a barcode. On this side, nothing at the top, just at the bottom says Star Wars The Black Series, and then we have the stripe from the front, continues around to the back at an upwards angle. And then on this side, we have the artwork. Quinlin Vos, it says there at the bottom. And then on the back, Star Wars The Black Series, and then there's that artwork again. It's just a close-up of the one from the side here. Quinlin Vos. While on a mission to kill Count Dooku, expert tracker Quinlin Vos fell in love with assassin Asajj Ventress, leading to a perilous dalliance with the dark side. Yeah, okay. And then here it is again in some other languages. Again, he's number 22 in the Clone Wars subline. Warning, attention, Octoon. Don't stick things in any language pie hole that do not belong there. Don't give it to baby's attention. Especially don't stick things in your French pie hole. Disney print, small fine, legalese made in China print, and Hasbro print, and that stamped in number thing. That, my friends, completes our look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and his accessories. And first off, we'll start off with the accessories. And first up is this newer piece, the lightsaber swish. Comes in green. I think it's the first time we've had it in green. So we've had it in blue now, and red and green. And this is probably going to mess up my chroma key, but there it is, my friends. It's nice. It's a solid piece. It's more flat on the edges than I thought it would be. It does have like just a plain post here on the end, no ring or anything like that. So that's a neat little piece. Then here's his regular lightsaber blade. That nice same green translucent plastic. The swish effect is kind of a harder plastic than these. These are a little bendy. That doesn't seem to be bendy at all. It's got that same type of peg. Just the plain straight peg there. And, you know, it's a green lightsaber blade. What can you say? So now we've got handy dandy tweezers to help us take a look at his lightsaber hilt. And you notice it does have a post here on it. And there's a place on his belt for it. So we'll get to that. So this lightsaber handle seems to be a bit longer than normal ones. The top of it looks, you know, old school, like Episode 1 Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn's, and then the bottom of it just kind of plain with some rings on it. But, you know, it's different. We don't, you know, see this size often unless it's a double-sided lightsaber, and this one is not. It's got a post only on one end because it's a single-bladed lightsaber. So there's that. And it did have a couple of little black paint apps on it. It's molded in that silvery gray swirly twirly plastic. So let's take a look at the figure himself, and I have to say they did a really good job on the sculpt here on the head. The face and the deco there look really good. The eyes look great. They're looking straight ahead. There's no offness to them. There's the eyebrows. There's this 5 o'clock shadow going on. The stripe on his head. There's even some up under his hair there. And speaking of his hair, I think they did a really good job on the sculpt here as well. Then he's wearing some armor up here with one shoulder pauldron, I guess. Is it a pauldron? I don't know. So there's that. It's got a nice look to it. It looks like it's part of the overlay with this upper tunic piece. And then there's a tampo of, I'm not sure what that symbol is supposed to represent, but it's there. So then we've got, I'm guessing it's molded in this color and this is the paint amp. I could be wrong. So we've got some color going on under here. We've got a tampo on this arm and lots of nice molded detail on the forearm and hand here, these wraps. On the back is, you know, like most Black Series, not a whole lot going on. It's just got some paint app here on the belt, and that does carry around all the way to the front. This pouch, these silver pieces, the silver piece right here where his lightsaber hilt attaches, and then, you know, this is pretty much regular standard Jedi overlay stuff going on here, it looks like, but it looks like it's attached to this belt, so it may be unique to this figure. And then, you know, he's got lots of nice molded wrinkled details for the fabric of his pants down into the top of his boots. Looks like there's some wrap there. A little bit of wash probably would have been nice here, but you know. And then it looks like some color here on the soles of his boots, and nice molded details around here too. So overall, I have to say, you know, it looks pretty nice. Now let's talk about his articulation a little bit. So it looks like a dumbbell at the base of the neck, and then probably another one here at the base of the head. It allows him to look up that far, look down that far. He's got some chicken neck. He's got waggle. That's all at the bottom of the head, but there is some, ooh, look at that, walk like an Egyptian going on. So there is that, and he can do the full exorcist. At the shoulder, it's a bit of butterfly going on. It goes back that far. It goes forward that far, which isn't very much at all. And then it does rotate 360 degrees, and he can raise his arm up at the shoulder that high, which is, it's right at 90 degrees. It might be a little bit better, but it looks right at 90, well, maybe a little bit better than 90 degrees there. So single hinge and swivel at the elbow, swivels around 360 degrees, and it gives you a lot of bend for a single hinge. That's pretty good. And then at the wrist, 360 degrees of rotation. It is on that Indiana Jones Adventure style, or Adventure Series style ball joint, or is that the reverse of these? I don't remember. So, you know, they'll go in and out, up and down, all around, however you need them to do. Ball joint or half dumbbell at the waist gives him this much hula, 360 degrees of rotation. He can lean left and right. He leans back that far. He leans forward that far. At the hips, he gives you that much of the splits, and that's what the mold itself is allowing. The splits in the overlay are not hindering it at all. He can kick forward that far, and these overlays do kind of move out of the way a bit, so that's actually as far as it'll go, which is about 90 degrees. And then he can kick back about that far, maybe the length of his foot, not quite the length of his foot. There's a cut at the upper thigh, 360 degrees of rotation there. Single hinge and swivel at the knee, swivels around 360 degrees. It gives you that much bend, so not quite 90 degrees. And then at the ankles, tilts down that far, tilts up about that far. And then it does have a pin for rocker. Now, if you're not having him hold his lightsaber, of course, it can store on his belt. That peg on here we talked about earlier, and the port here on his belt. And there you go. And that, my friends, is a look at the figure and his accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have Star Wars The Black Series, The Clone Wars, Quinlin Vos, with the Target exclusive Star Wars The Black Series, The Clone Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Star Wars The Black Series, Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, Count Dooku, and Star Wars The Black Series, The Clone Wars, Asajj Ventress. For our last set of comparisons, here we have Star Wars The Black Series, The Clone Wars, Quinlin Vos, with from the Marvel Legends series making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee, from G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander, from Star Wars The Black Series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper, and for a 7-inch scale comparison, from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final ramblings on Star Wars The Black Series, The Clone Wars, Quinlin Vos, I have to say I was a little bit surprised by this guy. I didn't think he was going to be quite as good as he is. And that's not to say, he's super above par of Black Series, but I think they, with the head and hair sculpt and deco, they did better than normal, I guess. As far as paint apps and stuff, most of them are on the face where they ink jetted it, and the hair is a separate piece. But again, I think that sculpt looks really, really good. And the face deco looks really, really good too. There's a couple of tampos on this guy as well, and they're crisp and sharp like they should be, and placed properly, it would seem. So I would have to say overall, if you're a fan of the Clone Wars, even though, Quinlin Vos didn't show up in the Clone Wars very much, he's been, I think in the comics, the Dark Horse comics maybe, he was a much bigger character than he was on the show, but of course that's all Legends stuff now. And so there's that. He articulates well. I like his lightsaber that, it's bigger than most, but not a double-bladed. So that's pretty cool, I think. And as far as, he's got the regular lightsaber blade, then he has the swish effect blade as well, and I was kind of surprised by that. It was a lot more solid than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like a round piece at the front and the back, and then, like very thin in the middle of the effect, but that's not the case at all. It's the same width throughout, and that does lead to a little bit of weight on it, and I don't think I would display this figure with that swish effect, just to the fact that it will probably, the effect piece is very hard plastic. But if you're familiar with lightsaber hilts in the Black Series, that they're not a very hard plastic, they're a very malleable piece. So I think over time that piece might stretch the port out in the lightsaber hilt. So just a thing to be aware of. Of course, you know, it's your stuff. You can do what you want with it if you pick this one up, and you know, I'm not responsible for what you do with your toys, but I know I won't display any of my figures with these swish effects because I think they're too heavy, and over time they're going to damage the ports. But again, that's just my opinion. Your mileage, of course, may vary, and that's okay. But I think overall, again, if you're a fan of the Clone Wars and you liked his couple of appearances in the Clone Wars series, and I'm not sure how, like, the more modern, the Marvel comics for Clone Wars and stuff, I don't know how often he appears in that, or even I don't even know if they have a Clone Wars prequel era comics series going in there. I don't think they do, but I could be wrong. I don't really keep up with it anymore. But you know, if you like the guy, then it's something to pick up. If you're just trying to build out your Jedi ranks, it's something to pick up. He's definitely one that's gonna stand out with the other Jedi, I think. Well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I am now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content or just help the channel grow, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.